You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines: 18 die of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. U.S. government consoles slain UPND cadre Joseph KAUNDA'S family. TIZ says unemployed youths are targets for violent acts in Zambia. In international news, Trump under pressure over Capitol riot. And in sports news, FARS writes prison LEOPARDS over FITCHITE. With further details, join me shortly after this break.
Monday, 11th January 2021 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts a vibrant, young, creative, self-motivated leader, Mulenga Sata. You can participate on the program through phone calls, text and Zoom. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. The Southern Africa Interfaith Peace Mission says it is concerned at the high numbers of political violence that have continued to be witnessed in the nation. Mission's Director, Reverend Howard Banda, has told Camnet TV News in an interview that unemployed youths have continued to be used as tools for political violence at the expense of little unsustainable tokens. Reverend Banda says no peaceless country has ever developed, and the current political violence is tampering with the strong economic ties that Zambia has created with other countries. The clergy says democracy is a wider market for competitive ideas and that all those aspiring to be leaders have to sell their manifestos to the public and not engage in violence. Details in this report.
Peace and unity have continued to be an anchor for development, as no country has developed without peace. Tension, panic, unrest, and hunger for power has been unleashed on the Zambian soil, and violence has been seen as the outcome of this gesture. The Southern African Interfaith for Peace has described Zambia as the heaven of peace and is calling on the peace that Zambia has enjoyed for years to be restored on the land.
Where we are going towards the general elections, we have seen at length that mostly it's the youth that suffers a lot. Unemployed youth have been used to go and hack, kill, and abuse one another for a token of 50 kwacha, 100 kwacha, and so forth. But this is a time when leaders on the political platform should be very responsible enough, to ensure that peace is instituted in every heart of every Zambian, from the youth to an adult. Zambia is a heaven of peace. So anytime that peace is tampered with, we are tampering with our strong economic ties with outside countries, and we are also tampering with our destiny to build a vibrant nation, Zambia, that will accommodate youths and also women, to exert their potential in the economy and contribute to the national breadbasket. But if we entertain youths to go and to use youths for violence, Zambia will never develop. There will be no country in the world anywhere where peace is void and this development is not true. Peace is another instrument, a catalyst of development is peace.
The Peace Mission is also calling on traditional leaders in the country to remain neutral and not take sides but condemn violence at all costs.
We are appealing to all political players and also traditional leaders who are fond of taking sides, and we don't expect our traditional leaders to be abused by political mercenaries who give them some token of money and go and abuse other people. Zambia belongs to Zambians. Whoever is ready to rise to the occasion to rule the country, whether it's Tonga, it's Lozi, it's Bemba, it's Ngoni, it's Visa, as long as Zambia is with quality, Zambians are able to buy that manifesto and put him into public office. Yes, democracy is the rule by the people and for the people, but yet democracy is a wider market for competitive ideas. So what we need to see in this country is let the electorate be given something that they're going to buy and put it into good use.
It is therefore a responsibility of every Zambian, young and old, to continue upholding peace and fly Zambia to greater heights. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
The Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, ZCCB, has called on President Edgar Lungu to ensure that a detailed investigation is launched in the killings of two innocent Zambians, Nsama Chipyoka and Joseph Kaunda. ZCCB President Reverend George Lungu says the investigation should ascertain both the person behind the command to use excessive force to shoot and the officer that executed the said order and bring the culprits to book. The bishop says President Lungu should rise above partisan politics and provide the needed leadership in the nation as a statesman. Bishop Lungu says the provisions of the Republican Constitution are supposed to be strictly adhered to by all institutions of governance, including the Zambia Police Service. The bishop also says the Zambia Police probably already know that summoning a leader of the major opposition political party is not the same as summoning any other ordinary citizen. The clergy says the statements by politicians and police officers and events that occurred in Lusaka leading to the loss of sacred lives are creating the unnecessary environment of tension and hatred in the nation. This is contained in a media statement available to Camnet TV News by ZCCB Secretariat. And still in the news, the American government, through its charged affairs in Zambia, David Young, has written to the family of killed opposition United Party for National Development UPND cadre Joseph Kaunda to convey its sympathy. Mr. Young, in a letter dated 5th January 2021, says the shooting to death of Mr. Kaunda was a terrible tragedy for the family. He says the American government joins other stakeholders calling for justice for the Kaunda family, urging the government to bring to book the person who killed him so that the law can take its course. And moving on in the news, government is next week expected to seal a deal of acquiring shares in Mopani copper mine. Republican President Edgar Lungu says government has concluded talks with Glencore regarding its desire to acquire shares in the mine. The head of state says he is happy that the mine is properly being run by Zambians. The president says Mines Minister Richard Msukwa will ensure a comprehensive statement on the details of the agreement later next week. The head of state says the conclusion of the talks will bring sanity to the workers and the mining industry.
My job is to
National Theatre Arts Association of Zambia, NATA's National Vice Chairperson, Fabian Mumba, has resigned from his position to pursue active politics and has shown interest to contest as Matero Member of Parliament. Fabian Mumba, who is also Executive Director of the FEMU Education Success, says he wants to serve the people of Matero once he is elected as their area MP and addresses the challenges that they are currently facing. Mr. Mumba disclosed his resignation during a media briefing which he held with the purpose of informing the public over his intentions of contesting as an area member of parliament. Meanwhile, NATA's national chairperson, Eric Kasomo, says the move taken by Mr. Mumba is not an easy path, hence the need to ensure that once he is elected on his interested position, he delivers for the majority of the poor Zambians who are suffering. Mr. Kasomo reiterates that Mr. Mumba has a strong backing and support from the association over his political decision made despite any political affiliation he may choose to be with. Recently, National Arts Council Chairperson Patrick Shamuvila also announced his resignation as Munali Girls Secondary School teacher to pursue active politics and predicted that President Edgar Lungu will win the 2021 general elections.
My resignation as NATA's National Vice Chairperson. NATA's is one of the bodies under the National Arts Council that is there to provide leadership to all theatre artistic forms in the country. I was voted into this office 2 years ago after the general elections, and I've worked tirelessly to see the association get better and better. This is done purely out of integrity, because I believe different artists in our country have got different political inclinations and affiliations. Some may be supporting other candidates also aspiring for a position such as this one. I therefore say the best way I can do is to resign as NATA's National Vice Chairperson so as to leave the artist fully.
I know questions will be asked. Is it okay for a national association leader that is representing artists to declare interest to run for a political position? My answer to that is there is nothing wrong, because every Zambian is entitled by right to contest any public position that they intend to contest if they feel that they are able to serve. And so Fabian Mumba today has declared that he wants to serve the people of Matero. And for us as a theatre movement, we give him 100% backing, knowing that even in Matero there are so many artists that are there. Should he make it go to parliament, there are very high possibilities that he could be one of the ministers of this country. That means huge representation in as far as the artistic world is concerned.
The Lusaka Regional Immigration Office has removed 53 illegal immigrants from the country. Department of Immigration Public Relations Officer Namatin Shinka said this was during a massive removal exercise conducted on the 7th of January 2021. In a statement to Camnet TV News, Mr. Shinka says the majority of those removed were apprehended during a cleanup operation conducted on the 5th of January 2021 in various parts of Lusaka by the same office. He explains that those removed were 27 Burundians, 11 Rwandese, 10 Somalis, 1 Kenyan and 1 Ugandan. In the meantime, Mr. Nshinka says in other parts of the country, 25 other illegal immigrants of different nationalities were removed on the same day. He says the department also apprehended 6 suspected illegal immigrants and refused 2 foreign nationals entry into Zambia for failing to meet entry requirements. He has since encouraged anyone aware of individual, business or employer who may be aiding and abetting illegal immigrants to contact the Department of Immigration. We take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you. Don't go away.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala komutienda okuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo basaione. Oh! Mwina moshi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesi gear na mawaipa.
Difficult, chidi njinga. Liam 19 pendef kondo. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a Camnet, difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Inemomi!
Powerful system ndimba. X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utola inoleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose na nchitinshi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
We all know how important good nutrition is to grow up big and strong. Not only is cowbell milk enriched with 28 vitamins and minerals, it's also boosted by the 5 most important vitamins, which we call Vita-Rich.
It's got vitamin A for good eyesight development. It's got vitamin C to help fight infections. It's got vitamin D and calcium to help build strong bones and teeth. It's got vitamin E to help with body protection. And it's got vitamin K for general well-being and immunity.
For good health and vitality, only cowbell with Vita-Rich puts you on the fast track.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets. Oracle Pure Glycerin.
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin. Monday, 11th January 2021 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts a vibrant, young, creative, self-motivated leader, Mulenga Sata. You can participate on the program through phone calls, text and Zoom. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Lusaka Central Member of Parliament Margaret Mwanakatwe says community-led initiatives that have a positive bearing on the people's livelihoods must be supported, as overall they contribute towards national development. Ms. Mwanakatwe says young people who have shown the commitment to contribute to the wellness of their community must be aided to make a greater contribution to national progress. She was speaking when she made a donation of 20,000 kwacha towards the Christian Community Church, which collapsed during the heavy storm in Bauleni compound in 2015. And Christian Community Church elder Joseph Samukaya says the gesture will go a long way towards mitigating the challenges which they have had for 6 years of constructing the church. More in this report.
2015 hazards caused by heavy rains in Lusaka's Bauleni compound has continued to show its effects, as the recovery process has proved to be tough for some people who were affected. At least 5 people, including children, died in Lusaka's Bauleni compound following heavy rains that swept through the area 6 years ago. The heavy rains also caused damage to several houses belonging to ZNBC staff at Twin Palm Transmitters compound, Zesco transmission lines and other infrastructure, and this church was among the affected. Since then, they have been struggling to rebuild the church, hence they have been praying in the unfinished structure. But during the rainy season, it is not easy. It is this group of young people which came up with an initiative to raise resources, and the recent album launch was one such initiative. Christian Community Church elder Joseph Samukaya thanked Lusaka Central Member of Parliament Margaret Mwanakatwe for complimenting their efforts to rebuild the church.
In 2015, after we finished building it, all the gaps, they collapsed during the time of storm, which we had in 2015, if you can remember, some of you, when the president came to support other families in the community of Baulen. So since that time, as we have been struggling to bring up our building. So now we have been searching for or looking for the people who can come to help us to finish the building. So we want to thank her for the efforts. She's been so much helping here in this community in terms of supporting those that are in need. And as a church, as I'm speaking, she pledged during that time we are launching, she pledged something, and this is what she have come to fulfill.
And Mrs. Mwanakatwe, who donated 20,000 kwacha towards the reconstruction of the church and purchasing of music instruments, implored the youth-led choir to continue mobilizing resources through right means.
I couldn't help myself. We had an afternoon in Bauleni where we had many choirs that came together. Tonse ututenze kuimba utu. Jeremiah ezoimba. But my choir mbili yanaimba just to raise money for that purpose. And this is how I was encouraged and driven and ensured that I'm able to support what they do. My support is in two parts. What they intended to raise that day was X amount, and this man will say. And also these Georgina, my gospel singers, they also needed support. So my support today is to 5,000 to ALA choir and 15 towards what they said they wanted to raise money for on that day. One of which was for the roof of the church which was blown over.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Police in Lusaka have warned and cautioned 3 Ministry of Health personnel from Matero Level 1 Hospital and Matero Main Clinic for the offences of forgery contrary to Section 242 as read together with Section 350 and theft by public servant contrary to Section 277 of Cap 87 of the laws of Zambia. This is in a case in which Frederick Sichone, age 51, a clinical officer at Matero Level 1 Hospital, Nchinga Mutea, age 31, a revenue collector at Matero Level 1 Hospital, and Aaron Kalunga, aged 45, a data clerk at Matero Main Clinic, were found in possession of 2 date stamps for Matero Level 1 Hospital for Outpatient Department OPD and Accounts Department GRZ receipts and forms of certificate of medical examinations already stamped. The suspects are alleged to have been issuing medical certificates to unsuspecting members of the public and converting money to their personal use through the use of the fake date stamps and receipts, which Matero Level 1 Hospital administration has disputed. Zambia police spokesperson Esther Mwata Katongo says the warn and caution statements have been recorded, but they are yet to be charged for the subject offences and will appear in court soon.
As read together with Section 350, subsection A and B, and theft by public servant, contrary to Section 277 of Cap 87 of the laws of Zambia. This is a case in which Frederick Sichone, aged 51, a clinical officer at Matero Level 1 Hospital, Nchenga Mutea, aged 31, a revenue collector at Matero Level 1 Hospital, and Aaron Kalunga, aged 45, a data clerk at Matero Main Clinic, were found in possession of 2 date stamps for Matero Level 1 Hospital, Outpatient Department and Accounts Department, respectively. Then a GRZ receipts and forms of certificates of medical examinations already stamped. The suspects are alleged to have been issuing medical certificates to unsuspecting members of the public and converting money to their personal use through the use of the fake date stamps and receipts. Where warn and caution statements have been recorded and the accused persons remain detained in police custody, yet to be charged, and they are expected to appear in court soon.
The Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, has unearthed a scam in which some unscrupulous people repackaged over 5 tons of agriculture inputs used under the Farmer Input Support Program, FITCHITE, in 2 other bags with intentions to smuggle them to neighboring countries. The Commission, which is part of the Task Force to Control Goods, Import and Export of Agriculture Inputs, has stipulated in Statutory Instrument SI 64 of 2019 conducted an operation in Asenama and Kasasa compound of Mansa district on the 6th of January 2021, weighed 10 by 50 kilogram bags of compound D fertilizer, weighing 500 kilograms, 79 by 60 kg bags of groundnut seeds, weighing 4.94 tons, and 9 by 60 kilogram bags of soya bean seeds, weighing 610 kilograms, were seized. DEC Public Relations Officer Teresa Katongo says the Commission seized 2 motor vehicles, including a light truck of registration number ASB 2451 and a Toyota Allion registration number BAP 6692, which were found at the scene and suspected to have been used as instruments of crime. She says the operation and primary investigations conducted revealed that the seized FITCHITE agriculture inputs belong to a Zambian male identified as Agri Panjamu of house number 89 Mutende site and service in Mansa district. Ms. Katongo explains that a building at Kasasa Market in Mutende site and service was identified to have been used for concealment of the said inputs, and Mr. Njamu had hired Jonathan Kapinga, a driver of the light truck that was seized, to deliver these products at the same building. She adds that in the process, other 2 male identified as Chanda Chimba, who had gone to buy the said fertilizer using a hired Toyota Allion driven by Joseph Chiwaya, were picked to help with investigations.
Operation and preliminary investigations conducted revealed that the seized FITCHITE agriculture inputs belong to a Zambian male identified as Agri Panjamu of house number 89 Mutende site and service in Mansa district, and the Commission has launched a manhunt for Agri Panjamu, who is on the run. The Commission wishes to warn all those frustrating government's efforts in ensuring food security in the country that the law shall soon catch up with them and will be dealt with accordingly. Meanwhile, the Commission, through the Anti-Money Laundering Investigations Unit in Northwestern Province, has arrested and charged the head teacher and the school accounts assistant of Kasempa Boys Secondary School for theft by public servant and money laundering activities involving 27,500 kwacha. The 2 identified as Charlton Kangasa, a head teacher of Kasempa Boys Secondary School, and Willie Mulenga, an accounts assistant of the same school, whilst acting together, made a number of withdrawals amounting to 27,500 kwacha on the school boarding account, where they are both signatories. The said account is designed for expenses relating to boarding supplements and foodstuffs for the pupils. This was done under the pretext that the funds were payments for advance salary, tuition advance, and settling in allowances, without due regard to Ministry of General Education's financial guidelines and public finance management regulations. The suspects are on police bond awaiting court appearance.
Zambia Community Resources Board Association ZRBA chairperson Dr. Rogers Luvilo has called on the Ministry of Tourism and Arts to expedite the process of signing the statutory instrument SI on hunting and revenue sharing with communities that live within game management areas. Dr. Luvilo notes that the communities will be reluctant to sign the new hunting concession agreement if the new revenue sharing mechanism is not agreed agreed upon in the first quarter of 2021. Dr. Lubilo, however, said ZAMBIA will be engaging government through the Director of National Parks and Wildlife at the Ministry of Tourism to accelerate the process of issuing the SI that will guarantee the sharing of concession fees with communities.
Issues of hunting concession that has not really been resolved will be resolved this year. We will be engaging with the government through the Director of National Parks and Wildlife, the Minister of Tourism and others to ensure that we can accelerate the process for a new SI, a new statutory instrument that will actually guarantee the sharing of concession fees with communities. I think we just like to reiterate that as we indicated that the communities discussed and resolved during the AGM in December last year, that the communities will be very hesitant to sign and be part of new hunting concessions agreements if the SI is not put in place. That will show and show confidence in the sharing of revenue from hunting concessions. So it is our appeal as a forum to the government through the relevant authorities that this process of putting in place a new SI that will guarantee the sharing of revenues from hunting concessions, animal fees, which is already going on, and other fees. The communities look forward that this SI will actually encourage them to continue to be good stewards of wildlife.
The Medical for Quality Healthcare in Zambia, MQHZ, has expressed disappointment with the Ministry of Health, Medical Stores Limited and Zambia Medicine Regulatory Authority ZAMRA for supplying substandard medical supplies in the health facilities across the country. MQHZ Media and Advocacy Director Francis Kangwa says they are demanding that all officers involved in these matters must be held accountable and they must be suspended immediately. Mr. Kangwa says it is unacceptable for the Ministry of Health to distribute substandard drugs and other medical supplies to the public. He says substandard drugs, condoms, gloves and other medical supplies that failed to meet the inspection standards are posing very serious health risks to the users and must be recalled immediately. He says the Zambian Medicine Regulatory Authority ZAMRA and Medical Stores Limited must take their work seriously and should not take Zambians for granted. He has urged all those people who use these substandard condoms and gloves to go for VCT and hepatitis B testing to guarantee their safety. He explains that taking substandard medicines has bad effects on the body that cannot be seen today but in the near future. Meanwhile, Mr. Kangwa says amidst the second wave of COVID-19, the government must take a serious thought of accepting and using the controversial COVID-19 vaccine. He says the vaccine must be tested according to the Zambian standards to guarantee public safety.
It is unacceptable for the Ministry of Health to distribute substandard drugs and other medical supplies to the public. Substandard drugs, condoms, gloves and other medical supplies that failed to meet the inspection standards are posing a very serious health risk to all users and must be recalled immediately. You see, therefore, Zambia Medicine Regulatory Authority and Medical Stores Limited must take their work seriously and should not take Zambian for granted. We demand that all the officers involved must resign on moral grounds for failing the Zambian people. We further urge all those people who used these substandard condoms and gloves to go for VCT and hepatitis B for testing to guarantee their safety. The public should know that taking the substandard medicines have effects to their body that cannot be seen today, but in the near future. Finally, amidst the second wave of COVID-19, we urge the government to take a serious thought on the acceptance and use of controversial COVID-19 vaccine. this vaccine must be tested according to our Zambian standards so that we can assure the public its safety and gain the confidence which has been lost due to these irregularities by the Ministry of Health.
18 Zambians have died of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The country has further recorded 1,029 new cases out of 11,855 tests conducted. Health Minister Dr. Chitalo Chilufya disclosed that of the 18 deaths, 11 are from the community, while 7 are from the health facilities. The minister also called for a moment of silence in honor of prominent professor of public health and tropical medicine at the University of Zambia, Kumashu Dat Bambo, who died last night.
Including the fact that it is COVID-19 and there are stopped generations of medical doctors, the LEOPARDS, the hands, we've also lost a professional dentist and lost the administrator. It is chaos occurring in Eastern Province. We sympathize with their families and we will observe a moment of silence in honor of this government. May their souls rest in peace. Total in these numbers: Lusaka had 379, CADRE 122, Livingston 67, $56, and Solwezi 40. And like we said, the old surveillance at various platforms was utilized to pick up these numbers. 10 BIDs, again, a very high number, and 1 community death and various facilities. That brings our cumulative number of totals then to those who we have tested positive cumulatively to 25,236 and recoveries to 20,349. Fatalities now stand at 441. The status of the epidemic in the country requires an urgent and very collaborative and coordinated response approach. We are all called upon at individual and collective level to act in solidarity to ensure that we do not spread COVID-19 or contract COVID-19. Now, the government.
We take our second set of commercials. To stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
We all miss the days we would play outside, go to school, and visit fun places. But now, we all have to take care to prevent the coronavirus. Viruses are really tiny particles that we can't see with just our eyes, so we need to keep ourselves safe by practicing good hygiene, such as washing our hands with soap and clean water regularly. We can also use hand sanitizer to keep our hands clean. It's also important for us to keep our bodies and surroundings clean. We must also avoid handshakes, hugs, and standing close to other people in public places. This is called social distancing. The coronavirus has affected millions of people around the world, so we need to stay safe. In the meantime, we can keep ourselves busy by reading a book, watching TV, and doing some schoolwork. There's so much we can do indoors. Stay safe, stay home, and prevent COVID-19. We're all in this together.
This advert is sponsored by the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crispy, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big batch 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your.
Enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Monday, 11th January 2021 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts a vibrant, young, creative, self-motivated leader, Mulenga Sata. You can participate on the program through phone calls, text and Zoom. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump's opponents in the 2 hours of Congress have called for him to be removed from office after a violent invasion of the Capitol by a mob of his supporters. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer said Mr. Trump should be removed immediately. If he is not, Housekeeper Nancy Pelosi says he could be impeached. Removal would need Republican support and only a few have so far backed it. The president said a new administration would be inaugurated on the 20th of January and called for healing and reconciliation. At least 4 people died during the unrest and 68 have now been arrested. The actions of the police have come under scrutiny, with officials facing criticism for failing to stop the rioters from breaking in.
This morning, President Trump's attempt to overturn the election appears to be over.
President has been the honor of my lifetime.
In a video posted online last night, Trump acknowledged his defeat for the first time.
My campaign vigorously pursued every legal avenue to contest the election results. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power. I'm coming for you!
In his message, 30 hours after a mob of his supporters stormed the Capitol, the president condemned the deadly riot, but also defended his response.
To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders.
But sources tell ABC News the president initially rebuffed efforts to call in the National Guard until White House officials intervened. The president didn't name the group behind the attack and did not acknowledge criticism that he fueled the riot. And this morning, the New York Times reports that Trump initially resisted taping the video, but then agreed after the U.S. attorney in Washington said that prosecutors looking into Wednesday's riot are looking at all actors, including whether there was some sort of, quote, command and control. Critics claim the president incited violence with this statement Wednesday.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
At the same rally, the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, called for trial by combat. In the meantime, growing backlash from within the president's cabinet. Overnight, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos resigning, calling the Capitol siege an inflection point. Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's wife, also resigning, and former Attorney General Bill Barr calling Trump's conduct a betrayal of his office and supporters. Now, there's a growing call to force Trump out of office before his term ends in 12 days.
Removing Donald Trump as president is urgent. He has stopped the responsibilities of president. For the last 2 months since the election, he hasn't been dealing with the pandemic. He's been tweeting and golfing and spinning up conspiracy theories.
Former Chief of Staff John Kelly also supporting Trump's removal, and the editorial board at the Wall Street Journal calling on Trump to resign, saying what he did was impeachable, writing,
We now get into sports news. Former Referees Association of Zambia, RAZ, President Joseph Nkole has died. Mr. Nkole passed on in the early hours of Friday, the 8th of January 2021 at Levi Mwanawasa Hospital, where he had been on life support since Monday. Mr. Nkole, who served football in various capacities, including being match commissioner on the CAF roster, was aspiring for the position of Football Association of Zambia FA's president before his death. The funeral is being held in Northmead at Wusakile Crescent in Lusaka. And still in sports news, the Football Association of Zambia FAS has directed Super Division side Prison Leopards to withdraw FITCHITE from their technical bench barely days after his inclusion amid public outcry. FITCHITE, who is serving a life in prison sentence, was convicted for defiling his niece and infecting her with HIV and syphilis in 2018 by the Supreme Court after he appealed his initial 25-year sentence handed by the High Court. His appointment came to light earlier this week after the Commissioner General, Dr. Chisela Chileshe, graced the ZCS 2020 Sports Gala at Mulungushi University in Kabwe. There was a public outcry, and now the association has written to the Kabwe-based side to withdraw the appointment. FA's General Secretary Adrian Kashala has stated that the action to involve FITCHITE in FA's organized football activities has the potential to bring the name of the game in disrepute and may deter other stakeholders, especially sponsors, from associating themselves with football activities. This is according to a statement made available to the media by FA's communications manager, Sydney Mungala. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. 18 die of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. U.S. government consoles slain UPND cadre Joseph KAUNDA'S family. TIZ says unemployed youths are targets for violent acts in Zambia. And in international news, Trump under pressure over Capitol riot. And in sports news, FAS writes Prison Leopards over FITCHITE. The Camnet word verse of the day is coming from the book of 1 Peter 1 verse 13, and it reads, "So brace up your minds, be completely sober, steadfast in spirit, self-disciplined, spiritually and morally alert. Fix your hope completely on the grace of God that is coming to you when Christ Jesus is revealed. Live as children of obedience to God. Do not conform yourselves to the evil desires that governed you in the former ignorance when you did not know the requirements of the gospel." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.